What is going on, guys? It is a beautiful night here, starting to finally feel like spring in Toronto. I've been feeling cooped up with quarantine, so I'm taking a walk tonight. Thought I'd bring you guys along. And today I'm going to be talking about the best investments for you as a filmmaker. What is it that you should be putting your money towards? Because there's so many pieces of gear, but there's some things that are going to last and that are really important. So I'll be talking about that. But first, I had a crazy week. It's been a pretty nuts 7 days. We were at home a week ago. We were on a Zoom call with our friends when we heard a loud bang. Then the fire alarm went off. Before we know it, this was happening. There was a full-on flood coming through our ceiling and pretty much any vent or hole anywhere in our walls. It was nuts. We had water wall to wall in our apartment. It was scary. That I went and grabbed my Raid and put it on the table, and there was people running in. We had amazing neighbors who in the middle of COVID-19 said screw it, ran in and helped us move all of our belongings to the middle of the room and bailed water out. And there was this one moment before everyone got there where water was pouring in through the ceiling and everything, and I looked at my wife and I said, let's grab what we need. So I grabbed my laptops, threw them in a backpack. I grabbed my hard drive, I grabbed my Bible, grabbed my passport, and I grabbed her and the cat. And there was this moment where there was just us and my backpack. And I looked around the room and realized that's all I need. It was kind of a beautiful, freeing moment where I thought, I don't actually need all this stuff around me. I don't need everything in my apartment. Just need my wife, our cat, and the things in my backpack. So we were about to get out of the apartment, but then everyone showed up and started helping us bail all the water out. And well, now we're at an Airbnb and we're figuring it all out. But today, let's talk about things you should invest in. Funny enough, I'm talking about things you should buy after I'm just saying, you know, I don't need all this stuff in my life, but that's just it. There's a lot of gear you buy that you may not actually need, but there's a few things that if you put your money into them, they will be with you for a very long time. So the number one thing is your lens, what's in front of your camera. There is lenses that I bought 15 years ago that felt very expensive for me at the time, but I decided to get the better version. Like I got my Canon 24-70 L series. I remember when I was in college, that felt like a third of my tuition. It was expensive, but I still have that same lens today. It's like a 17-year-old lens now, and it is amazing. It's been with me on all my projects. I shot Rescate with it. Someone recently on one of my videos commented, date the camera and marry the lens. You've probably experienced this. You buy a camera, you go home, you're excited to use it, and before you know it, you're looking at a YouTube video of someone announcing a new camera that has better specs than you do. This just happened with me. I bought the FX9, and then Canon released the C300, which has everything that I kind of want in a camera. But that's the thing, lenses last for a long time. Some of my favorite lenses that I own are from the 1950s. We have these vintage lenses in my office that I still use on productions today. So invest in one good lens when you're starting off, or two good primes. You can get one good zoom, or maybe a good 24 mil and a good 50 mil. I think it's better to have one good lens than 5 crappy lenses. Number two thing I think that is worth investing in is your lights. Lights is what is going to be lighting up everything that you're filming. Now, my favorite light of all, of course, is sunlight. All my videos I talk about using natural light and how important it is, but don't cheap out on lights. When you get a good light, it will last you decades. You just have to switch out the bulbs. If it has a good fixture, if the mechanics and the wiring is good, then you will only ever have to switch out the light bulbs, and this is a worthwhile investment. I just recently had a cheap light that was shipped to me from overseas, and I thought it was great. It looked good when I lit my subject, but unfortunately some of the wiring went out and now it's just useless. It's a hunk of junk. So worthwhile investments is getting good lights, and I'll put links down below to all my favorite pieces of gear that I'm talking about. But I think lights are one of the most overlooked things. People buy cheap lights, they try to get the cheapest ones they can off Amazon, and they aren't really helping. They're not going to make you a better filmmaker if you can't get good soft lighting. And why not buy once then buy 3 times? Put money into one good light rather than having to buy 3 of that same light because you keep buying cheap ones. Invest in a good light. And number 3 is exactly what I have in front of this lens, and that's a filter. Getting good filters, they'll last you a very, very long time. They're worthwhile putting money into because you will always need filters. There will always be a need for variable NDs. I know a lot of cameras are starting to have variable NDs built in, but you never know what lens you're going to be using. You never know what camera you're going to be using. Sometimes you even need more variable ND than the camera has available. It's a worthwhile investment because I hate when I see people buying cheap NDs and putting it on front of the lens because they're affecting the image that's hitting their sensor. When you get cheaper ones, they start to vignette as you cross over the threshold of the polarization. What I really like about the Polar Pro ones is they stop you before that can happen. There's a limiter on that, so you don't ever get the crazy vignetting, and they're high quality polarization. I've been using cheap variable NDs in the past, and you get all that crazy X polarization vignetting. It's not worth it. Get a good ND. Number 4 thing that you should be investing in that's gonna last you a long time is a good microphone. It's funny, you can have the most beautiful image in the world, but if the audio sucks, it makes it look bad. And same goes the other way around. You can have a pretty ugly, bad, overexposed image, but if the audio is good, people will keep watching because it sounds normal. The sound of the human voice is one of the most important things in your film. So why are you going to spend the money on good music, on good lenses, but then have a crappy microphone? So I think investing in a good mic is important. There's a wide variety of them. I use Rode mics. I really like them. There's so many different companies out there. We actually invested in a really nice mic for our documentary work. It's by Sheps, and it's, I think I pronounced that right, but it's like a $3,000 mic. And I know that's not that affordable for most people. It wasn't for us, but man, it is totally worth it because everything sounds better than real life. It's the best investment. If you get a good mic, it will last you for decades. And the last thing that you should be investing into is your camera support. So whether that's a tripod or maybe a top handle, you guys know I love top handles. I still have the same tripod that I bought 12 years ago. It's the Manfrotto, I think 502 video or whatever. Anyways, it's a great heavy duty tripod. It still works great. It's so sad to me. Again, I'll be on set and someone will have a beautiful camera and then they'll be using the most cheap knockoff tripod. And it's so disappointing because then they can't pan smoothly. The camera's about to fall off. It's worthwhile getting a good tripod because one, a tripod works with any camera. Doesn't matter what camera it is, it will work as long as it's heavy enough and can take that payload from that camera. And also two, you're probably going to need a tripod 20 years from now. You need somewhere to put your camera on. And there is gimbals, which are great investments as well. You want to get a good one, but those are always going to be improving. There's always going to be a new one, and someone is always going to have one that you can rent off them. But having a good tripod is a worthwhile investment. So just to review those things, you want good lenses. They will last you a long time. Don't cheap out on lenses. Kit lenses, sometimes it might be the first thing you can afford, and that's okay. But if you're thinking about the next thing you're going to buy, rather than putting money into those LUT packs, go buy a good lens. Even though a LUT pack is much cheaper, you could probably buy 30,000 LUT packs before you could buy some nice anamorphic lenses. But anyways, that's not what I'm talking about. Number 2, get good lights. Number 3, a good variable ND is very important. Number 4, microphones, your voice. This is key. And number 5 is a good tripod or camera support, whether it's a camera cage or a top handle. These are items that you're gonna have for years to come. But anyways, I hope that helped, guys. I'm trying to give you this knowledge because I've been filmmaking now for, I don't know, I think 15 years, started in 2006, whatever that math is, that's 14 years, that's good math. On the fly, I've been playing a lot of Yahtzee, I'm good at quick math. But these are items that I know I've bought years ago and I still have today. They're great investments. There's a lot of gear I have in my drawers these days that I just was like, what was I thinking? Why did I buy that? But I hope that helped, and I hope you guys are doing well, keeping safe. I think quarantine is almost over in a lot of countries, but let's stay safe until then. But I'll see you guys on the next one.